Something that is unspoken about when it comes to, I'm talking about wedding hair and makeup artists here in the wedding industry, you might not think about is we're often quite vulnerable when we come to wedding venues, especially in the winter. We're travelling to remote venues, we're turning up at 6, 7 in the morning, we're usually the first to arrive at the venue, and we can quite often, there's nobody there to meet us. So we're turning up at a venue in the middle of nowhere, in the dark, with our kit, and we're wondering about trying to find people. There's a vulnerability aspect to this. We talked about this in the group recently with the members, and we're saying how I don't know if people realise that, they just think, oh, you just turn up and charge a lot of money and, you just do your job and go. It's not always like that. There is that vulnerability side of it. More commonly, a lot of hair and makeup artists tend to be female, and we tend to be working on our own. I'm not saying everyone is, but it's quite common that they are, and it's often we're working our own. We're arriving at places on our own. Give an example of this. Now, luckily this happened in the summertime. I got booked for a wedding. It was miles away from my home, and it was about a 3-hour drive to get there. And there was a part of the road, and it did say this in the sat nav, for about 10 miles is a one-track road. So I took that into account. So I set off an hour earlier than what I would have usually. So it was a long day, and I got there, and I say it was summertime, so it was light. I got there about, I think, 8 in the morning, and it was light. But when I got to this single-track road, my signal went. I did not get a signal for miles. There was no signs for the venue. It was very difficult to find. Couldn't get my phone working, couldn't get my sat nav working. It was telling me the venue was there, and it was not there. I drove up and down Loch Long at the side for about 45 minutes, up and down that road, and it was a wee one-track road, so it was difficult. I had to go into areas to turn. It was really, really difficult. And I was on my own. I didn't see another single car, see nobody to ask, because it was early in the morning and it was so remote. I was trying to phone the wedding planners to tell them, I've lost. Where is it? I can't find it. Could not get a signal. Couldn't phone home to say, I'm lost again. Can you help me? Tell somebody, find somebody, phone the people, let them know. I couldn't do that. Luckily, though, because I set off earlier, I ended up only being 10 minutes later than what I said I was going to be. So that was all very well. But I was on my own, because quite often, as I say, we travel on our own. Now, what if this had been the winter time? I would have been driving along that dark road, that single track road, on my own, in the dark, with no signal and nobody I could contact. The only reason I eventually found the actual venue was when I turned. I went into a different bit to turn, and I looked and I could see a big house, and I thought that must be it. So that's the only reason I found it. Still didn't get a signal. It was bad enough. I was panicking because I was I don't want to be late, and I was well, if I can never find it. It was a horrible thing. And the fact I could not phone anybody, and I couldn't get anybody to let them know I will be there, but I'm lost, whatever it was. We are vulnerable. A lot of the time we're turning up on our own. So that's something to factor in. If you're getting married somewhere quite remote and it's out the way, we do need to have really good directions. We need to make sure there's somebody meeting us there. And if it's in the winter time, we have to take into account we're in the dark and we're wandering about on our own in the dark. It is quite frightening. So if you're getting married in your venue, sort of hair and makeup artists, kind of give them a heads up, let them know about the venue, maybe make things a little bit easier for them, maybe have somebody meet them, just to give them, to make them feel a little bit safer, because we are turning up on our own and it can be quite a vulnerable position to be put in.